The Sabbath is for all flesh. Isaiah 66:23 says, "So the excuse is as old as rebellion itself. The Sabbath, that's for the Jews." But God never said that. In fact, he said something far greater, something final, something prophetic. Isaiah 66:23 thunders from the pages of eternity. "And it shall come to pass, that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord." All flesh, not just Jews, not just Israel, not just Sabbath keepers, all flesh. Let the skeptics shudder. Let the pastors who preach Sunday tremble. Let every imam, every priest, every so-called scholar be silent. For the word of God has spoken, and it is not a whisper. It is a roar. In the final chapter of Isaiah, the prophet pulls back the veil and shows us the new heavens and the new earth. And what does God command there? Not Sunday worship, not vague spiritual rest, but Sabbath worship, from week to week, by all flesh. That includes Gentiles. That includes Africans, Asians, Europeans, Arabs, Americans. That includes you. So now the question must pierce every heart. If the Sabbath is for all flesh in the new earth, why do you reject it now? Why do you mock the very day that God himself says will be kept for eternity? Every preacher who stands in a pulpit and says, "The Sabbath was nailed to the cross," is calling God's eternal plan obsolete. Every believer who chooses Sunday over Sabbath is saying, "I will not walk in the footsteps of the saints in glory." Let that sink in. The Sabbath is not a temporary shadow. It is a permanent sign, given at creation, Genesis 2:1-3, commanded at Sinai, Exodus 20:8-11, kept by Jesus, Luke 4:16, preached by Paul, Acts 13:42-44, prophesied for eternity, Isaiah 66:23. And you still say, "It doesn't matter"? Listen, this is not a cultural issue. This is not ceremonial law. The Sabbath is embedded in the 10 Commandments, written by the finger of God in stone. It's not Jewish law, it's God's law. And he says, "All flesh shall come and worship before me." That includes every nation, every race, every tongue, every tribe. Isaiah's vision is not a return to Moses, it's a vision of the new earth. That means when sin is finished and Satan is destroyed, the Sabbath will still remain. So who changed it? Who dares claim that God switched his holy day from the 7th to the 1st? Not Jesus, not the apostles, not the Bible. Only man dared such blasphemy. The Roman Church declared the change, and the world followed. But heaven didn't change. God didn't change. His word stands forever. Malachi 3:6 says, "I am the Lord, I change not." Hebrews 13:8 says, "Jesus Christ the same yesterday, and today, and forever." And yet today, millions walk in rebellion, excusing it with the lie that the Sabbath was for Israel only. Isaiah 66:23 destroys that lie. From new moon to new moon, from Sabbath to Sabbath, all flesh will bow before the throne of God in worship. If you plan to worship him on Sabbath in eternity, why not begin now? If the Sabbath is heaven's rhythm, why march to man's beat? This is not tradition. This is not preference. This is not optional. This is God's prophetic decree. The Sabbath is for all flesh, for now, for judgment, for glory, forever.